Good evening! These are so hard to talk in. One more time. Good evening. It's close. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, everybody, today we're going to be checking out all of the Universal Monsters Funko Pops in my collection. And not just the regular ones. There's also some weird collaborations that they've also done. We're going to be taking a look at them too. And so let's just get started with the original set, which is going to be Dracula, the first one here, which totally makes sense. It's such a classic figure, and I love the hands on it. Very similar to, you know, blah, blah, blah. In general, it's a really well done pop, especially because it released back in 2014. It seems like something that could have came out like today. And I think that's why this is one of my favorite sets, even though I don't talk about them too much. Like, I do every once in a while, but because it's very Halloween related, I don't really talk about it for like, you know, I guess 10 months out of the year. But anyways, the first one we've got here is Dracula. Now, let's get into number 2, which is going to be the Frankenstein. Another one that I have here is actually the glow-in-the-dark version that was exclusive to Hot Topic. Funny enough, I don't actually have the original version of Frankenstein, but I've got like 5 or 6 other ones that I'm going to be showing you. But now hear me out on this one. Even though I don't have that original, the glow-in-the-dark is just like the original one, but 10 times better. It is that same mold, but it glows as well. You really can't complain about that. Now, I'm not going to show you the back of the box yet, but I do want to let you guys know that I am missing a few from this set. We'll talk about those at the end because I don't want to spoil the rest of the stuff that I've got here. And anyways, next up here, though, it would be the Mummy if we're going in numerical order. And if you've been looking at the numbers in the corner, you might notice that I actually skipped 2 of them. One I have, but it's brand new. I just picked up the other day. And the other one, the Bride of Frankenstein, I don't have her. I've got a newer version of her that we'll talk about, but from that original set, I was never able to find her. And now anyways, getting into the Mummy here, I really do like this one, especially because he's got the ring on in his hand. And the cool thing is about the ring, too, is that it's the only thing that actually has color on the pop. Everything else in this figure is black and white, so there really isn't a lot going on there when you take it out of the box, but the ring, it really stands out. I also feel like this would have been a really cool figure to make a glow-in-the-dark version of, which they never did, but just imagine like a bright white glow. It would look so cool. And anyways, let's put him here, and then we'll get on to the next one, which is going to be... Aha! Yes, right. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, another one that I honestly really love. This one is a lot of fun, and I know that there is another version of The Creature from the Black Lagoon, too, that released right around the same time as this original one. I'm just trying to remember what it was. Was it kind of like a metallic version, maybe? Or was it a glow? There was something about it. I'm sure I've got a photo on the screen right now, so you guys are seeing it. I still have no clue till I look it up later. And anyways, getting back into this figure here, I love the gills on it. And also kind of funny because I believe he is called Gillman too. So it totally makes sense why he has so many on his face and his arms, and the way they did this kind of like darker green shading around it really does look clean. But then everybody, I also have this one here, the Frankenstein with Flower, which is a really great one. It was normally exclusive to, I want to say Walgreens, I think, but I actually picked it up here in Canada, so that's why it has that special edition sticker instead of that Walgreens one. And now that I think about it, I believe the only thing that's different about this one versus the other regular one is the arms. I think the body is exactly the same, but that daisy in the hand, it's a perfect exclusive. I love that Funko did it. And then everybody, possibly my favorite one out of this entire set, I still need to get that, well, clear version of him, but we have Invisible Man. It's just so great. And like I mentioned, there is a chase version of this one here that was only at Walgreens. Like, you could only find Invisible Man at this store. Now, later on, of course, they did make another version of Invisible Man, which I actually, funny enough, don't have in my collection. I remember when the new wave released, I was like, no, I want to finish off the first wave before I get any of those. Even though I do have some of them in my collection. Anyways, not the point. The point is, I want to try and get that invisible version, and you can only get it from this original one. You can't get an invisible version of the newer character. The only way you could find it, though, was inside of the board game, the Funko Verse. There was a chase version there where he was clear. Again, another thing that I do not have in my collection. And anyways, now, let's get into the 3 brand new ones from this set here that I just picked up. Well, new for my collection, they still released back in 2014. But now, let me show you the first one that we've got here, which is, check it out, the Phantom of the Opera. I love this pop, and I am so glad that I was able to get it because it really is a cool one. They don't have very many Phantom of the Opera pops, and I believe they never recreated it for the new wave, so this is like one of the only ways you can get them. So definitely an interesting one to own. And then the next one that we've got here is, yeah, look at this guy here, the Metaluna Mutant. Weird because this is from the movie This Island Earth, which I didn't actually know that till I read the back of the box. They've got all the logos up at the top top here, and I believe, yeah, they actually say, like, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Mummy, Dracula, Invisible Man. It's pretty fun. If you guys didn't know, with a lot of these ones here, just above where all of the pops are, you can see the logo in green. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, out of all of the Universal Monsters that they created for this original set, I didn't actually know that this thing existed. It wasn't until Funko created their figures that I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to look more into this one, and well, here it is. Such a weird pop. Now, keeping it blue themed, some of you guys might know the next one that I'm about to talk about, because there isn't really another blue pop in this category besides, check this one out here, the Wolfman. I mean, come on, that's completely blue. My only question is, why did they create this? It was a New York Comic Con exclusive back in 2016. This thing completely glows, and I never did get an original version of the Wolfman. And actually, you know what, now that we've gone through the entire thing, if you guys want to take a look on the back, that is the entire set. Sorry, I'm so far off to the side. There's just so many figures over here. But anyways, everybody, that is all of the figures that I have from the original set, and I feel like now that I'm displaying them like this, there's something missing here. I would just like one more of them. Maybe I gotta get that Bride of Frankenstein soon. She's got a spot. Okay, now that we've gone through all of those, let's get into some of the newer ones. And I guess we'll start with this one here, which is Dracula with a candle. Also, a weird sticker because here in Canada, it was exclusive to Shoppers, which is a pharmacy. I know, they have a pretty good section of pops. I actually get a good amount there. And you know what? Now that I'm looking on the back, I'm noticing they actually have the original set here and not any of the new ones. How weird. So maybe I'm not missing as many as I thought. But anyways, taking a look at this one, I really do like the updated version of them. And it's not that crazy compared to the original. And you know what? I might even like that more cartoony look that they did for those ones back in 2014. And now, you know how earlier I talked about having a Bride of Frankenstein, just not that original one? Well, it's actually because of this 2-pack here. This was exclusive to Hot Topic a few years ago. I want to say maybe 2 years ago? Yeah, 2022. So not that long ago. It actually doesn't feel like that long at all. And it feels like one of those figures that you might even still be able to get on Hot Topic's website. I'm not sure because I haven't checked, but I remember it was available for a while. And you know what? Funny enough, now that I'm looking at this here, they might even be the original molds, just black and white. They very well could be. You know, hold on. Let me grab that original Frankenstein. Yeah, you know what? I think it is. Take a look at the two of them there, guys. I totally think it's just like a black and white version of that original. Pretty cool, especially because most of those movies, I believe, were in black and white. So this is a lot more accurate when you think about it. But now, going completely opposite from black and white, we have, well, the black light version of Frankenstein, where he's even brighter than before. This one's pretty cool. Also, normally exclusive to, I think, Walgreens again, but I picked it up here in Canada, so it has that other special edition sticker. And this one here is actually that original mold, but it's not the original, it's the one with the daisy in his hand. Now that I'm looking at a lot of these, they do seem to just reuse them and do different colors, which I don't mind at all because, like I said, I really do enjoy those original figures. And maybe they realized that after they came up with this Dracula and people were like, we like the cartoony version more, so they just stuck with them. I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know, but whatever it is, it's still pretty cool because I like the colors on this and it kind of looks a little bit, you know, more comic booky. I like the blue that they did on his suit. And now, everybody, keeping it with these bright colors, I have two more to show you here. Another Frankenstein, which is again just that original mold, and then we also have Dracula, and these ones here are in their deco colors, and I love the boxes to go along with them. Now, these figures actually just released this year, and taking a look on the back, I'm realizing I'm missing a lot more than I thought I was. I still need, 3 of them for the collection. If you're wondering which ones I'm missing, it is the Bride of Frankenstein again, Gillman, and the Wolfman, and I believe the Wolfman was actually exclusive to Funko.com. It's the only place you can get it. And now, before we move on to the next stuff that I want to show you, I do want to ask you again, do you like the newer version of Dracula or the older one? Like, would you like to see updated versions of all of these characters, or do you want them to just keep making different versions of those original molds? And now, anyways, let's get into these weird collaborations, because we have the Care Bears and Universal Monsters. The first one we've got here is Grumpy Bear as Frankenstein, which is a really great one. It totally makes sense, even as the cloud still on his chest. Then the next one, everybody, we have Tenderheart Bear as Dracula. This is another really great one too, and I especially love this because he's got his cape up in the air. It's fun. Then, everybody, everybody, we have our second Bride of Frankenstein for today. This one here is Cheer Bear as Bride of Frankenstein. Again, a really cool one. And I honestly think it's so funny how tall they made her hair in this. It's really cool because she's like lower in the box compared to the rest of them. And anyways, there we go. We'll put her with the rest here. And now, let me show you. Yeah, this one. Honestly, these next two here, it's debate on which one's my favorite. Like, they're both really great. We've got Bedtime Bear, though, as the mummy, which, again, is just so perfect. I feel like a mummy is always sleeping. And then to give Bedtime Bear this one here, it's just, come on, it's too good. And if you look closely, you'll notice the moon on his stomach there actually has a bit of wrap around it, too. And now this last one here, I've actually never shown off on the channel because it just arrived the other day. But it is Good Luck Bear as Gillman. I mean, that, yeah. Okay, you know what? It's a tough choice. I think, though, this one has to be my favorite. I just love the little, like, water droplets on there. And actually, did they do that with every single one of them? Like, kind of give it a bit of a spoof on the actual character that they're dressing up as? But I don't know. With the other ones, let me know what you guys think. Maybe, like, the cloud is green for Grumpy Bear. And then, oh, yes, you know what? Because for the Tenderheart Bear, it actually has that, like, I don't know what you call it, like a pendant that Dracula would normally wear. So it looks like Funko really did put a lot of time into these characters, and I'm wondering if they made these for anything else as well, or if these are like Funko's original designs. It's probably something, though, that like Care Bears came up with. I don't know, whatever it is, though, they're really fun. Now, these last three that I have here are some really crazy ones. Probably the most expensive out of the bunch. But this first one that we've got here is definitely the oldest of the three, and it is, check this out, Kirk Hammett, the lead guitarist from Metallica as the creature from the Black Lagoon. I know, a weird one, and funny enough, this was actually exclusive to the Royal Ontario Museum here in Canada. I've talked about this one a pretty good amount on the channel. Like when we went to the museum, I actually brought this one along with me. It's a really cool figure, and that's actually a gift from my grandpa years ago. It might have been the year it released or maybe the year after. I was talking about this one a lot just because I thought it was cool because it was kind of like local, you know, at least here in Ontario, Canada. And so I was like, you know what, I totally gotta get one of these. And he was nice enough to find one and actually purchase it for my collection. It's just so cool. I also love that this one here is limited to 1,008 pieces, so there is not many of them out there. And I know it doesn't show it on the back, but there is actually another one. It's Kirk Hammett as Frankenstein. And now that I'm looking at this one again, I kind of want to get that one too. Then, next up here, another creature from the Black Lagoon, but this time it is Freddy Funko as the creature. Another really crazy one to have. It was limited to 10,000 pieces, and you actually had to get it from their party over at New York Comic Con back in 2022 called Fright Night. They had a bunch of different Halloween exclusives, and this was one of the ones that I was able to get from my box because you don't know what's inside. And because I've got a pretty big collection of Universal Monsters, I was definitely excited about this. And now, everybody, here we go. We got one more here. This is the Freddy Funko as Wolfman. How cool. This was exclusive to Fun Days back in 2021. A very similar party to Fright Night, but it's actually over at San Diego Comic Con, not New York Comic Con. It was also the year that there was no physical party, but you could still buy boxes online, and I wasn't lucky enough to get this one for my box, but my uncle was nice enough to pick it up for me. It's just such a cool figure, and I don't know if it's that original Wolfman body because I don't have one in my collection. There's this one, though, and then there's also a flocked version, too. And I believe the flocked version was like maybe 1,000 pieces, and then this one here is 3,000, and it's so cool to just have like any version of it in my collection because, I mean, come on, to have both the Freddys like this, they really do look nice. And well, everybody, there we go. That is all of the Universal Monsters in my collection. I don't know why I tried again, but anyways, this is seriously a lot of fun checking out all of these figures with you. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Halloween as well, and I'll see you tomorrow!